Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the world of banking with the new video, the developmental and promotional functions of RBI. So this video is also in continuation with the previous video in which we talked about and discussed the RBI, the central banking functions performed by RBI. When I'm saying central banking function, which means that these functions were the monopoly function sort of that is only performed by RBI or the central banking institution in case of India, or the apex body which regulates and maintains and manages the entire working of the banking industry in India. That is the regulatory body, right? So in this video particularly we'll be talking about, other than the central banking function, that will be our developmental and promotional functions taken care by the RBI, that is Reserve Bank of India. These are the developmental and promotional functions performed by RBI. In order to quote, these are the development of the financial systems. So what comprises of the financial system, how it is being regulated by RBI, that we are going to see how it is being related with the development and the promotion of the economy as a whole, right? Again, the second function is the development of the agriculture. What different banks, what different branches have been set up, and how RBI is directly indirectly affecting the agriculture, and what steps have been taken by RBI for the development of agriculture. This way we are going to see in this particular second function, development and promotional function, provision of the industrial finance. What are the various steps which were necessary to develop and promote the industrial finance and to set up the industries, how RBI is helping. Then what sort of provisions of training in order to educate and create an awareness among the customers, how to make how banking awareness can be made to the people, what sort of technical institute, what sort of training institutes, what sort of training departments have been set up by RBI in order to promote the training activities and making the people aware about the banking services, banking transaction, banking functions. So these we'll be seeing in that particular point. Then how RBI collects the data, how the data being compiled, processed, and publication of the various reports, whether it's the annual report being published by RBI, weekly report on daily reports related to the commercial branch banking, then the technological advancements, circulars of RBI, right, where you can find them. Also we'll see where these reports of RBI and these publications can be found, and how researchers and experts academicians can make the use of these reports, right? Then promotion of banking habits, how banking habits can be promoted, what are the advantages and disadvantages in promotion of export through refinance. So all these things are the developmental and promotional functions which are carried out by the Reserve Bank of India. So we'll be taking all these points specifically one by one, right? So the very first one is development of the financial system. So we're talking about the financial system. So it comprises of the financial institutions like specialized banks, we have heard, right? We have read the financial markets like primary and secondary markets you are taking care. And in financial institutions, there are banks, there are other financial institutions, there are non-banking financial companies, right? So all these jointly make the financial institutions. Financial market are your primary and secondary market, right? Financial instruments like ADR, GDR, shares, debentures, and all these FDs, RDs, all these investment modes are make up your financial instruments. So this, why it is important to understand, because the sound and efficient financial system is must for the rapid economic development of any nation, for any country. If it really need to grow, so the financial system is the backbone of it. So it includes these three things: financial institution, financial market, and financial instruments. So the banks are also known as the backbone of this financial system. So RBI being the apex body, these are the developmental roles, and RBI is an important agency. RBI plays an important role in order to develop this financial system, so the entire economy of the India can be grown, right? Now comes to the second part, that is the development of agriculture. Since we have talked about that India is an agrarian economy, because majority of us depends upon the agriculture as the primary source of income. People like us, the RBI has to provide special attention for the credit need of the agriculture and its various allied activities which are directly or indirectly depending upon the agriculture. So what the roles RBI is performing, how it is taking care and for the development and for promoting these kind of things is RBI has time to time set up various organizations. So in generally we'll be taking care that in order to have the developmental promotional role related to various domains, whether it's agriculture, whether it's industries. So what firms have been set up, what institutions have been set up, and how RBI is playing that particular role, how RBI is performing that role, right? So in order to develop the agriculture, it has earlier the Agricultural Refinance and Development Corporation, or known as ARDC, to look after the credit. And many times you have heard this word NABARD. So National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, for the development of the agriculture. And also we have direct under the organization structure, we have also studied the Regional Rural Bank. So all these three are being taken care by RBI under the development and promotional functions or roles that RBI is performing in order to develop the agriculture. What sort of provisions have been created for the industrial finance? So industry is as important as the agricultural for the agrarian economy like us. Rapid industrial growth is the key to the faster economic development. In this regard, the adequate and timely availability of credit to small, medium and large industry is very significant. So not only large industry require funds, but MSMEs, micro, small, medium and medium enterprises also require funds. So industrial finance, in order to develop and provide the industrial finance to these industrial sectors, whether it's micro, whether it's small, whether it's medium, or it's on the large industry. In this regard, RBI has always been very instrumental in setting up these special financial institutions such as ICICI Limited, Industrial Development Bank of India, IDBI, Small Industrial Development Bank of India, SIDBI, and banks like Exim, Export Import Bank, etc. Now comes to making and creating awareness about the banking products and services, banking transaction, banking environment, right? So many times we have seen that people are not aware about all these recent changes, all these schemes of the government, that government or RBI wants that people should be made aware about the banking transformation. So latest modes like UPI, BHIM application, IMPS, how remote interior areas like villages can be connected with the banking channel. So time to time they provide training programs, they have the provisions of the training. So RBI has always tried to provide essential training to the staff of the banking industry, and by incorporating various programs like financial inclusion to the unprivileged people, to the weaker sections of the society. In the same aspect, the RBI has set up the bankers training colleges at several places. In order to quote few, we have the National Institute of Bank Management, NIBM, then Bankers Staff College, BSc, collaboration with various government banks, public sector banks, and College of Agricultural Banking, that is KEB, are few to mention. Other than this, not only these kind of provisions and these kind of developmental functions are done, but RBI is also interested in collection of data. This data helps to furnish the policies, to go for the statistical information. So being the apex monetary authority, it is the RBI's duty, it is the RBI's function, it is the RBI's role, collect, process and disseminate the statistical data on various topics. These topics includes the interest rate, the inflation, the condition of the inflation in the country, savings and investments, etc. This data proved to be quite useful for the researchers, the academician and the policy makers, whether these are the state government, these are the central government, or this can be for the researchers and the academicians, so that into consideration and suggest and make recommendations to the concerned parties. Along with that, it not only collect the data, process and disseminate it also for the publication of the reports. So the Reserve Bank has its separate publication division. This division collects and publishes data on several sectors of the economy. So in case if you want to go for finding that how many mobile banking applications, how many banks are using mobile banking facility, how many banks are using electronic banking facility, what number of people are using NEFT RTGS, what is the level of transactions, what volume of amount is being included, and how many funds, what level of funds are being disseminated using electronic, using traditional method, check transactions and everything. So all these data are available on RBI's website. So these reports and bulletins are regularly published by RBI time to time. So it includes RBI weekly reports, RBI annual reports, reports on trends and progress of commercial banks in India, etc., or like branch banking details. This we can see with the help of this particular example. So this is how the official website of RBI looks like. So it's rbi.org.in, where you can find at the home page there are publications. So you can find these kind of reports. When you click on reports, annual reports are there, half yearly reports are there, quarterly reports are there, bi-monthly, monthly, weekly, and occasional. So you can find these kind of reports, right? So when you click on reports, these things, draft report, reports, you can get all these things there on the RBI website. These publication also includes like reports on trends and progress of banking in India. So when you click on this, you can find n number of things like all these things, Indian banking sector at glance, currently how many banks are there and all these things. So these are few of the things that can be overseas operation of Indian banks, branches and ATMs of scheduled commercial bank, the location, the numbers and everything, right? Not only this, but if you also go to another side, how RBI is helping the people in order to make or in order to train the employees, in order to make create awareness among that. So RBI also have this particular Reserve Bank of India's financial education initiatives. Not only there are various things like, say for example, this is one thing, how going digital, how you can go for the digital, and there is a new method that is known as UPI, Unified Payment Interface. So when you click on this particular link, there will be a YouTube video that so all these
कहाँ है पता करो ना
video
पापा
helps
मेरी
you to
आउटगोइंग बाढ़ है
understand
बिल नहीं भरा
how
होगा
it looks like,
कितना टाइम लगता है
what are the various
सिर्फ
benefits
2 मिनट
of it,
मोबाइल
how
ऐप
you
से
can get
Sorry.
access to that, all these things. And after this, we have the promotion of banking habits, which means that as an apex organization, it is the duty of the RBI. So it time to time tries to promote the banking habits in the country. So it institutionalizes the savings and takes measures for an expansion of the branch banking and other banking networks. So it has set up many institutions such as Deposit Insurance Corporation in the year 1962, Unit Trust of India in the year 1964, IDBI Industrial Bank of India 1964, NABARD, NHB, National Housing Bank in the year 1988, etc. Also, another function talks about another important role that is being performed by RBI is the promotion of export through refinance. So, the another organization that has been set up in order to encourage the facilities for providing finance for foreign trade, especially exports from India. So, RBI set up Export Import Bank of India, also known as Exim Bank India, and the Export Credit Guarantee Corporation of India, ECGC. And these are supported by refinancing their lending for export purposes. So these are few functions, or I should say the developmental and promotional functions, or the roles of RBI that has been taken care by Reserve Bank of India in order to have a holistic approach towards the development of the economy, promotion of the various banking habits, in order to have the various domains such as agricultural background, the refinance facilities, setting of the banks like export, import, and industries there, and supporting the staff of the banks along with the creating awareness for the banking services, banking products, and making the unprivileged people connected to them, and creating awareness sort of, so that every individual can be connected with them, learn about banking, and the awareness can be made in a better way. With these words, thank you everyone. Thank you so much.